All right, so you're making beats with AI and you don't want to get caught. You don't want to get humiliated. You don't want to get called a loser or a lazy ass, dumbass bitch. You don't want to be seen as a talentless hack. Well, this video explains how to avoid detection even if you're using AI to make your beats. Now, I see why the AI folks are getting a little bit nervous. I mean, there are tons of people out there with zero taste who will embrace AI music, but we are seeing a backlash. So, for example, Luminate just reported that consumer surveys are finding increasing discomfort with generative AI in music. And so you might be thinking, all right, this is making me nervous because people are not going to respect my music. They're not going to listen to my music, especially producers with Suno Studio, and they're getting the stems and they really feel like they're making something amazing. Well, this guy, Modernist Mixing, shout out to him for making this video, and shout out to Oasis, one of the most pretentious bands on the planet, because he's going to teach you how to make beats with AI without getting detected. Now, I've spoken about AI detection before. The AI bros hate those videos. Everybody else really enjoys them. And he's going to touch on some of those AI detection methods, how he tested them and how accurate they were. So let's skip to the good parts, but support him. Modernist Mixing is the YouTube channel.
I had a real client project and he brought me the Suno demo for me to reproduce the whole thing, and he would provide his own vocals over it. So by the end, there would be no AI generated elements remain. But I still had access to the stems, so I built some mixes, some test mixes, so I could run it through the AI detection algorithms. So I built multiple mixes. Mix 1 is where the instrumentation and the drums were all played or produced by me, but the vocals were AI. Mix 2 was where the vocals and drums are AI, but the instrumentation, the keys, the guitars, the bass, etc., they're all played by me. Mix 3, the vocals and instruments are AI, but the drums were replaced with Superior Drummer 3, which is a great drum library, and the sounds are like almost indistinguishable from actual drumming. And Mix 4 was Zero AI, where everything was human-made. Before I ran any of these through detection, I validated the tool myself. So the tool I used is the Submit Hub AI Checker. You can paste a YouTube link directly, no file upload in it, or you can upload files. Before I trusted the tool, I fed it tracks that I knew were 100% human-made, 100% AI-generated, and some kind of hybrid where some of the tracks were AI-generated, where some of them were actual human-made tracks.
So this is interesting because a lot of people in the comments were concerned about how accurate these detection platforms actually are and whether or not false positives are going to mess everything up. Let's see what he found.
I also cross-referenced with Deezer, which is one of the streaming platforms that has already started labeling tracks as AI or human-made.
Yep.
And I compared those labels against what Submit Hub detected, and they seem to align most of the time. Here's what happened when I ran my mixes. So the 100% AI mix, detected as AI, nothing unexpected. The 100% human mix, detected as human-made, nothing unexpected. Now, the interesting part is whenever I fed one of the hybrid mixes, so some track is AI-generated, some tracks are human-made, it always detected some AI element. In some instances, the Submit Hub tool said that the hybrid track was human-made or it was, AI-generated. So there's some kind of threshold. The tool has a cutoff. It says that if it's this percentage human-made, it's human-made. If it's this percentage AI-made, it's AI-made, basically. Here's why this matters. We have no idea where the streaming platforms set their own threshold. So
and realistically, I don't think it matters because it's not as though these streaming platforms are banning AI music. They aren't even forcing a label. Well, Deezer might be, but Spotify certainly isn't. Spotify does now have optional AI labeling, but you only see it if you're viewing the credits. So I don't believe you can view that on mobile, and it's completely up to the user, the uploader, to opt in to labeling their tracks as AI generated. So if you are like this client who made a track entirely with... Hey, cut that shit out. So a lot of producers are doing this. A lot of producers and artists are making tracks entirely with Suno, and then they're going to a producer and they're asking that producer, or they're going to multiple musicians or all the above. And I swear to God, dude. And they're asking that producer to replay, re-record all those parts so that there are only human elements and no more AI elements. Well, then you're safe, right? I mean, you didn't do anything wrong. Let's talk about this because I think we're still lying to ourselves. Spotify now has AI labeling. It's probably going to change. Yeah, it's only in the credits though. Like people don't check the credits, but there was one particular screenshot of a song, and it was going viral across the internet because the song, like the lyrics were written and credited to Claude or Chat GPT or something stupid like that, and then the production was credited to Suno, and it was just 100% AI. Every AI platform was credited in those credits, and then there was like a little AI thing that showed, yeah, this is AI. And hopefully Spotify changes the label so it's actually either displayed prominently on the song title, like just a little square that says AI or something, or on the artist if the artist is AI. So a lot of people now are trying to avoid AI detection because they don't want people getting turned off at their use of AI. Because a lot of people, it's not popular yet. There's still a lot of contention around listening to an artist that's entirely AI generated. And as a result, you're going to see people coming in and asking for more of this stuff. Like, hey, I got this AI track. Can we make it human? So that's what the guy did. He replayed the parts that AI generated, and then the client himself recorded the vocals. And so it ended up being a human-made project. But what this producer did was he wanted to test out these AI detection protocols that now are being offered by various companies. And so he created several versions, 3 versions. The first one was entirely AI. The second version was partially AI. Like he would replace certain tracks with real non-AI generated sounds, but he would keep certain AI elements. And then the third test track was 100% human, replaced all the AI elements. And he tried several tools, including the Deezer tool and I believe Submit Hub's AI detection tool. And the results were, according to him, exactly what he thought they would be. They detected pure AI in the 100% AI track. They detected partial AI in the partial AI track, and they detected no AI in the no AI track. So where does that leave us in terms of things moving forward? Because it feels like a lot of streaming platforms and labels, even like Sony, are developing or at very least using these third-party AI detection tools.
What do you mean? Where does that? Because
what's next? Where are we going with this? What's next
just
with
labeling? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I wish the labeling was more visible. I mean, it's a good start, I guess. I don't know what the next step is. I still think most like passive listeners aren't going to care until they're educated on what's happening, and even then, only a small percentage of people will actually care. I saw a post yesterday. I actually sent it to my wife because it was funny. The guy turned his wife's text into a song, and it sounded like a cool song. It was like a you saw that video?
No, but there's a lot of AI content like that, and that it kind of, it's like AI is a really, I think even Rasha talked about that, where it's pretty effective if it's used as a tool to parody things or make kind of joke songs like BBL Drizzy.
Yeah. I just, obviously we're not going to be able to put the genie back in the bottle. So AI is here to stay. I just want more visible, like AI, like this is AI. And it would be ideal for there to be an option to like select, I don't want any AI music played in my playlist, or like when you auto generate, or when it's just playing like the Spotify radio, it's just song after song. I should be able to filter and say I don't want any AI music played. I think that should be a feature as well.
And here's something else interesting. I have 2 more things that are interesting. One is the labels. Like a major label like Sony seems to be invested in AI detection. A streaming platform like Deezer is invested in AI detection. I don't hear the same thing about Apple Music. I don't hear the same thing about Warner Music Group because they're partnered with Suno. Sony is still fighting all the generative AI platforms. Normally, the major labels are all on one accord when it comes to these trends. Like they didn't fight streaming; they just got their money. They did their licensing deals. They came out ahead. But it does feel like there's a schism within the four major labels left on the planet. Are there four or are there three? UMG, Sony, Warner. That it's only three, right? So it seems like Sony's in the middle. Sony might be the one that the stronghold against AI. That's going to be interesting moving forward. The other thing is, and even Universal, actually, what am I saying? Universal disabled downloads on Udio, and they are fighting with Suno right now legally because Suno is saying we're not disabling downloads. So that lawsuit hasn't gotten settled, and it seems like Sony's being even more aggressive than that. So we know that labels are all investing and have always been investing in AI technology. So what is their end game? Are they just trying to play both sides, and whichever side wins, they feel like they're going to win because they're invested in both?
I don't know. I have no idea what the end game is.
They might not either.
Right.
Well, it's the labels. It's the labels. Who knows? And they're probably running all over the place, not knowing where to go.
Yeah, I mean it's right now it's kind of the wild wild west, and Deezer is the only platform that doesn't accept AI music. They still don't accept AI music, right? And I think that's why they
They
have the
do.
detection.
They have the detection because they keep saying a lot of their music is AI. If they didn't accept it, then they wouldn't have statistics on how much of the AI music that's on their platform is being streamed by bots. Bandcamp, I think, is the one that doesn't accept it.
I thought it was Deezer.
I'm not sure. I don't see how they could be doing both. But while you check on that, the last thing I'll say is to avoid AI detection, you're probably gonna have a lot of producers saying, "Okay, well, I can just make a beat with AI and then replace it with human elements, or I can make a song with AI and replace it with human elements, and that's okay, right? Because it's like you've laundered the money, you've cleaned it. You know what I mean? Like you use the AI platform, but then you just, I know people, I know producers who do that. They'll make something in Suno and then they'll hire a real human to sing that part or play that part. So is that okay? Is that the ethical way to do things? And I'm just going to remind everybody, if you use AI, which has stolen from humans, only to turn around and pay musicians to remake what you generated from that stolen training data, you've made more money for the AI platforms because you're paying for your membership. You've given them additional training data, and you've still exploited all the training data that was taken from musicians just like yourself without their permission. So we have to be realistic about ourselves. I see a lot of people acting like they're virtuous because they took their Suno stems and hired people. If you play a little piano roll and upload it to Suno, yeah, that's your note. But then if you say, hey, turn this into an orchestral arrangement with brass, well, it had to train on brass players who were uncompensated. It had to train on composers who wrote those brass parts who were never compensated, were never asked permission. So it's a complicated situation. I don't think this is a way to. I think then the guy in the video, the mixing guy in the video that you said looks like me, was acting like this was the way to make something contentious pure. So he's like, oh, I support this. I don't think you're being honest with yourself. I don't think you're looking at the full picture.
Yeah, so I thought that Deezer initially said that they weren't going to support AI music, but it says, yes, Deezer allows AI generated music, but with strict controls for transparency
Yep.
and fraud prevention. And that it also says in this Music Business Worldwide article that consumption of AI generated music on Deezer remains low at between 1% to 3% of total streams. I'd love to know that number for Spotify and Apple.
It's got to be similar, right? Because the DSPs are feeding into all that. Like it shouldn't be drastically
Yeah,
different.
but I feel like Spotify doesn't have the same like strict measures and transparency because I think I mentioned to you before like that song that auto played for me. I was listening to somebody that I know their music, and the very next song, what I feel like Spotify probably
Been
pushes
higher.
it more.
Mm.
Yeah, just like with their algorithm. Um, so whereas Deezer sounds like probably doesn't have a lot of AI generated music just in the algorithm that will just autoplay.
Which is weird because okay, Deezer said 85% of streams on AI music they found to be bots. So if what you're saying is true and it's that much or more on Spotify, why is Spotify encouraging botted streams when they just uh, had that whole situation with Mike Smith where he's going to federal prison for 5 years for running bots on AI music on Spotify?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a lot of stuff remains to be seen. A lot of stuff we'll never know because Spotify won't probably give us the same level of transparency. But just know it concerns me. That number gets higher. I mean, 1 to 3% is already a concern, but that number starts getting in the double digits because that's the percentage of money that's being taken out of the royalty pool that would have gone to traditional artists. So that
Yeah,
to
and
me
when
is
I
like
say that, people say, "Oh, well, that's a problem with Spotify. Be mad at Spotify. Don't be mad at AI." Okay, sure, all right.
in any industry, anytime there's an opportunity to cheat the system or make some money, like there's gonna be they're gonna flock to it like ants on sugar. Like, and it just
Yeah, it's
really
ant
muddies the
season
waters.
out
And I
here.
don't. You guys have ant season.
Yeah, it's when it's rainy. The ants start trying to get in people's houses. I have nightmares about it.
All, all bad.